Yeah, so had to move on to my computer camera because my phone just died. But basically, what I was saying was like I don't like that a lot of like a lot of people have this thing where it's like they dislike a song, but they feel like because they dislike the song, they also have to kind of hate on the group. And I'm just like, I don't get people who do that because like what if somebody was to do that to your group? What if somebody was to just come at your group and be like, I don't like this person, I don't like this group because of a song? Like, I'm just like, why do people feel like they need to be haters, basically? And let's move on to my next one about how, like, solo stands have this tendency where they'll do that. They'll hate on. One thing I don't like about the K pop community is the unnecessary amount of hate. Somebody could literally wear like an outfit that probably doesn't align with their daily outfits and they'll get hate because the outfit isn't something that they would wear. And I'm just like, I don't get people like that. It's like if you don't like something, keep it to yourself. Like for example, with Youngjun from TXT. I don't get people who hated on his Gum music video because and his the hate that he got was so unnecessary because it's like okay, just you don't like the song, okay, but the hate was just so weird because it's like you don't have to comment. So the next thing I will talk about, speaking of that, is what I do like is how my unpopular opinion is companies or K-pop companies need to start doing something about um these medicines. They need to do something about them because I feel like it's been going on for way too long. These medicines just get away with everything. They trash on groups. They got people kicked out of their groups. They made false rumors about people. It's just like these companies need to do something because I don't understand how you are supposed to be. You're supposed to be a company and you're not protecting your employees and the idols that are supposed to be in it. That's unacceptable, in my opinion. Like unacceptable. A great example of this would be NCT Dream, Rise. It's like why the freak? Why is Rise? Why is Suhan having to go through something like that because of everything? Why is Suhan getting hate for something that pretty much most teenagers do? Most teenagers smoke. Most teenagers have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's like, why the frick is he getting hate for something that literally most of us have or do? And I don't even think it was like, oh, he had a girlfriend or oh, he smoked. But I think a lot of people didn't like the fact that like he had a life that's was normal majority because you know what it is low key, it's not even the fact that he did those things, it's the fact that some fans think that Korean teenagers are like these sweethearts, these they don't do no wrong, they don't like they just come home from school, do homework. But if you watch K dramas you would notice that not all teenagers are like that. Korean teenagers are the same as American teenagers. Like they do rebel stuff. It's like, and it's completely normal because that's what it is like of having a childhood, doing something. So it's like I don't think it's the fact that I think he got hated on not because of those things, but because y'all had this image of him or medicines had this image of Suhan for being an average teenager, a regular teenager who does regular stuff. NCG Dream should have never been like that. Medicine's hating on something they didn't even need to listen. Like if you don't like the album, if you didn't like the whole purpose of the album, if you didn't like what they're doing, so be it. But to spread hate for something that they literally had no control of, like first of all, they're on a tour. I don't understand why they're on a tour because I feel like NCT Dream never gets a break, never gets sleep. But it's like the problem with y'all fans is you don't give these people the benefit of the doubt. Like they're always working. When they're shooting videos of themselves doing activities, doing stuff, they're still working. They might not have been making music, but they're still working. They even go ahead of doing fan calls for y'all, doing the freaking audio recordings. I love the recording videos. I love to hear the recording videos, but even then I'm just like it's too much. Like there's even things I'm like, why do they film this? Why does the company allow them to film something that just seems like personal? Like this is like they go they literally donate their privacy to y'all and y'all still complain. Still complain. My next unpopular opinion is the sexualization. Now I get it. They're adults. They do sexual things on stage, but I feel like y'all go overboard. Cause sometimes I do get some of us do get delusional, but it's like it's delusional to the point where it's like chillax. It's like these are actual people at the end of the day. Because I've always thought that the ones that sexualize them the most be the ones that be mad that they get like a girlfriend and boyfriend. Because one day these idols are gonna get married. One day they're gonna get a girlfriend and boyfriend. Don't get mad. Don't get mad when that happens. My another thing that bothers me is because of the sexualization, y'all get mad at these idols for stuff that they do or they can't control, yet y'all have no issues with sexualizing them or like hating them and doing stuff. It's just like that's just something I hate. The sexualization is just crazy, especially when it comes to teenagers. Like, no way some of these teenagers need to be going through that. It's like, no, no. Another unpopular opinion, which I don't know if this is the fifth or sixth unpopular opinion, but another one would be why do some of y'all um comment about these idols' looks? Why do y'all do that? You like there's like you know imagine someone come up to you and say, you know what the issues is not someone could come up to me any day and comment about my looks, and to be honest I would not care because it's just like that's a rando. But that would not be the same if I was like a famous person, because there's a difference between someone commenting about your looks through being a regular person than if you're like an idol, if you're this big famous person and millions of people are commenting about how you look, how that person might have feel. Like you guys do not need to comment on these people's looks. Like, stop doing that. Lee Song did not deserve what happened to him. Like, I don't think them people who were commenting about how he looked, that's like you don't have to comment. Like, and it'd be people that be a bias, have a bias too, that be doing this. It's like you don't need to be doing all that. Like, no. That comes to my next point. My next unpopular opinion. No one cares if you have a bias. No one cares if you have a bias record. Like, people like this bother me because, like, personally, when I got into K-pop, I was like, why not like all of them? Like, even in any groups I support, I like everybody. Like, I don't just single one person out. Like, I like everybody in the group. Everybody. People who have biases or bias records piss me off. 'Cause it's just like, no one acts if you have a bias. No one cares if you have a bias record. The bias record thing is dumb because it's like you can't just like vote members. Like you have to have a bias. Like you have to have one person you like. And it's just like I don't know how you could enjoy K-pop that way. 'Cause it's just like I cannot imagine that. But I've noticed that like when I'm not into that type of stuff, I enjoy the music better. I enjoy the groups better because I'm not just only favoring one person. And I know some of y'all don't actually be like that. I know some people don't like, hate on every member if they have a bias, but some of y'all are like that. And that's a problem, in my opinion. So we need to stop the bias and bias records because, to be honest, that's just dumb. Another unpopular opinion would be the I think the most is the delusional staring thing. I don't know if y'all know what I mean by that, but like basically people go to these concerts and if you get like front row and if you think an idol's looking at you, they're not. They may be looking at you if you have like a sign, but they're not looking at you. People like that trend where people like there'd be this trend where people are like, um, nobody at my school looks at me, but the only person that looks at me is like my this idol. I'm like, no one's looking at you, and I'm just like, they can't probably look at you, and if they are, you probably don't know that because it's like, so like for example, I might be looking in a crowd, but doesn't that mean I'm looking at like that person. Like they might look like they're looking at you, but that doesn't always be the case. And people who have that delusion that like somebody's looking at them is crazy because like, or don't get me started with those people who think. I think a thing I dislike, which is another unpopular opinion, is people who have this thing where it's like, I've seen these videos a lot, or this trend where it's like people would find like a person, like a famous person or celebrity, and they'll like put like who their type is, like by like hair, outfits, lifestyle, and I'm just like, we don't need to be doing that because at the end of the day, you don't know these people. You don't know these people. You don't know these people. Like you don't know what type of people they might like or date, and I think that's a problem. And this goes to my next point where I was like, another thing I dislike is the culture appropriation. The culture appropriation, I will talk about two of them. The culture appropriation of black culture and the, I don't know what it's called, but it's like this fetish where it's like you guys see like a non black person and y'all kind of fetishize them into thinking they'll date like black people or black women or men because they're a little bit more spicy or they're a little bit more hip than a regular Korean person or regular person. I see this a lot and I'm like, why are we doing that? Because the second they say the N word, it's a problem. Like, we need to stop thinking that like we need to, first of all, I don't like when people do that because I know a plenty of idols that get fetish like that where it's like people think they'll date black, is people do the same thing with like like non-black men where they're like, oh, like he's a little bit more spicy so he'll date black women, or he'll say he like black women. So I'm seeing a bunch of black women in the comments embarrassing themselves talk about, oh, it's like, no, because at the end of the day, they might be the hippest ones. They might be doing that, but they might end up with an Asian woman. They might end up with a white woman. And the thing at the end of the day, it's like people need to realize that it's not easy to date outside your culture. It's not easy. There's so many things to deal with when you're dating outside your culture. So it's like it's not easy to do that. So I think it's weird how people have this thing where it's like they need to fetish people. Now I know a lot of idols do not care, but it's like I'm not gonna name any of them, but I think some of us know who I'm talking about. But we don't need to be doing all that. We do not need to be doing all that. And then my last unpopular opinion would be um the makeup style. The makeup style does not suit everybody. When we're doing certain makeup styles that a lot of K-pop idols do, it's not gonna be the same. I've seen K-pop idols where they get their makeup done. It looks nice on camera, it looks nice in photos, but then as soon as they get out on the airport videos or those like red carpet videos, and they get that smack like that snap of that professional camera, the makeup looks ashy. The makeup looks like it's not blend properly. And that's another thing I want to say. That's another unpopular opinion. The makeup looks nice. The K-pop makeup looks nice, but like I feel like for you to pull off like very ashy makeup like that, you have to be very pretty to do that. Not only that, but the makeup be also not the shade for the idol. Like I've seen idols where it's like their skin color is like tan, but then the makeup is super bright. It's like the makeup style is not the same as is not the same. Like those makeup styles that they use is suitable for their culture, their face. And I think some of us need to realize that. Like, I think some of us need to realize that. For example, like if some idol has a cutesy makeup look, you might not look good with that type of makeup style because at the end of the day, people who have prominent features is not gonna look good. It's gonna look very ashy. It's gonna look very weird. So that's what I'm gonna say. The makeup style is not for everybody. So people need to stop thinking. Because I remember what the makeup style I used to do. I used to do like that little lip move thing, the little lip stick move, where like you put concealer on like the lines of the lip, and then you kind of put like a little bit of color tint on your lip part. That doesn't look good if you don't use like a concealer that's kind of similar to your lip shape. And you also have to blend it in well. You could get the same look by using like uh, a pencil, like a pencil. So that's the end of my video for today. And if anybody wants a second part of this unpopular opinions of K-pop, please comment down below and have a good rest of your day.